home remedies in just a little bit, but the short version of what a home remedy is it's something you do when you don't feel well or you've injured yourself at home instead of going to a doctor. So it's for minor things, minor ailments, and minor injuries. So in this lesson, I will be explaining the remedies, but also kind of talking about what leads you to using that home remedy. So, well, once again, welcome to this English lesson about home remedies. Remedy. So, the word remedy simply means something you do when you're not feeling well, when you're sick, or something you do after you injure yourself. A great example would be a good home remedy is rest. So if you aren't feeling great, if you're feeling a little bit under the weather, that means you're not quite sick, but you don't feel 100%. You might just rest. That's probably my favorite thing to do, my favorite home remedy. But you can also see in this picture there are lemons, there's garlic, there looks like some kind of loose leaf tea. I think there's honey here at the bottom, and there are a few other things that some people might use to treat themselves when they're not feeling well or when they have injured themselves. So, a home remedy then is a remedy that you use at home, something simple that you do when you aren't feeling well or when you are slightly injured. I mean, at some point, you should go to the doctor, but sometimes a home remedy will do just fine. So, number one, if you have a sore throat, if when you talk, your voice sounds like this because you've been coughing and your throat aches, you might want to try tea with honey. Maybe you want to have some peppermint tea with honey or some regular English breakfast tea with honey. Honey in tea really soothes your throat. And I often will have tea with honey around this time of year. Thankfully, I'm not feeling sick at all. There are some sicknesses going around. Maybe I should start drinking tea with honey now just to prevent getting a sore throat. But you also see there is some lemon there. Some people like to have citrus fruit as well to kind of help um, kind of bolster their immune system. There's two words there that maybe you don't know. When you bolster something, you make it stronger, and your immune system is what fights off disease or illness. Chicken noodle soup. So this might be somewhat cultural. Soup is not cultural, but the kind of soup when you're sick, chicken noodle soup, might be quite North American. I'm not sure. But chicken noodle soup is made from chicken broth, pieces of chicken, usually some vegetables like carrots and maybe some peas. And then there are, of course, noodles in the soup. You can see here a nice hot bowl of chicken noodle soup. This is a remedy that people often use when they have a cold. So when I was a kid, if I stayed home from school because I wasn't feeling well, a lot of times my mom would make me a bowl of chicken noodle soup. And the idea was that that would make me feel better. The hot soup, the vitamins and minerals or whatever's in chicken noodle soup would somehow make me feel better. So it's a pretty common home remedy. In fact, one of my kids was sick last week, and so we bought some chicken noodle soup. We bought like a big thing of frozen chicken noodle soup from a place that makes it from scratch, and it was really yummy. I actually had some of it as well. Plenty of fluids. So this is a big deal. Often when you're a little bit sick, you might be losing fluids for one reason or another, and plenty of fluids, water, for instance, maybe lemon water, plenty of fluids is just good for you. You can sometimes become dehydrated when you aren't feeling well. When you're dehydrated, it means your body doesn't have enough water in it. So it can be a really good idea to drink a lot of water just to stay hydrated. So the doctor will often say plenty of fluids. If you were to research online what to do when you have a cold, it would probably say make sure you're getting chicken noodle soup and plenty of fluids to stay hydrated. Aromatherapy. I don't know much about aromatherapy, but aromatherapy is the use of scents and smells to help you feel better. I do know this. If you look at this little picture here, let me zoom in further. Beside the brown thing with steam coming out, there are some eucalyptus leaves. So Jen grows eucalyptus. It is a very fragrant plant. It smells wonderful. And sometimes we put dried eucalyptus, we hang it in our shower. And so when you have a shower, you can smell the eucalyptus, and the aroma can make you feel better. So aromatherapy is used just to make you feel better, like mentally and physically. It just makes things smell pleasant. But I don't know what all of these things are. I think they obviously use steam and different kinds of leaves that smell good to make the whole room smell amazing. Cold compress, ice pack, warm compress. A cold compress is something that you use when you want to. Here's how I've used a cold compress. I have in the past taken a washcloth and made it very cold and put it on my forehead if I have a fever. A fever is when your body temperature is high. This person is using a cold compress or ice pack on their ankle because they might have just injured their ankle slightly. And this, of course, is very similar. This is an actual ice pack. You keep these in the freezer. They have kind of a nice gel inside. So when you injure yourself, by the way, I had an ice pack here for a couple of days after I broke my collarbone. It was very, very soothing. So a cold compress, it can just be a cold washcloth that you might put on your forehead if you have a fever. Um, it might be an ice pack that you put on a part of your body that you have slightly injured. Or you might use a warm compress. So this is also a nice thing to do. If, let's say, you have a cold, your nose is stuffed up and your sinuses are stuffed up and your face just doesn't feel very good at all, you might put a warm compress or a warm washcloth on your face just to kind of help you feel a little bit better. So, a couple of different kinds of ways to use heat or cold to help you feel better. A heating pad. So, I have a heating pad. A heating pad uses electricity in order to warm up a part of your body. Right now, because I tore my hamstring a number of months ago, sometimes I will lie on the couch reclined and I will put a heating pad under that part of my leg so that heat goes into that muscle and it really makes me feel better. I really think it is a great way to have a little home remedy to make a sore, stiff muscle feel better. So, a heating pad has buttons and you can set it. Ours has 4 different levels of heat. I use the highest level, and then it warms up your body. Some people use heating pads just to stay warm, but generally, a heating pad. I know when I had a sore back a couple of years ago, I used a heating pad to kind of help warm up that part of my back so that I just felt a little bit better. So, a heating pad, a little electric thing, little electric pad where you can turn it on and the heat makes you feel a lot better. Saltwater gargle. So, this is another, a lot of these home remedies are for sore throats. But if you put salt in water and you go, should I gargle? This is dangerous. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but when you gargle, you don't drink the water. I just did. Don't do that with salt water. But you put some water in your mouth and you blow bubbles through it. You gargle and then you spit it out when you're done. If you have a sore throat, sometimes gargling with salt water, isn't that a great word? Gargling. Gargling with salt water can be a good home remedy. It can make your throat feel better. If you have dry skin, so in the winter in countries like Canada where it's cold, the heat in our houses makes our skin dry. Because we are heating our houses, it removes a lot of the humidity from the air. And so often people will put lotion on their hands and maybe on their face to keep their skin soft and so it's not dry. I do this as well. I didn't used to do this, but I find that the more I put gloves on and off, or you put your hands in your pocket and take them out a lot, your hands can get dry and chafed. When your hands are chafed, they turn a little bit red. My hands are pretty good right now, but certainly lotion is a nice way to treat dry skin. And if you have a plant called the aloe vera plant, you can actually use the juice from inside the plant to treat your skin as well. Um, I don't have an aloe vera plant. We used to. But you can buy aloe vera lotion as well for dry skin or lotion that has aloe vera in it. A warm bath. So, a warm bath, I'm trying to think of the situation where you would take a warm bath. Let's say you worked really hard, you did really hard physical labor, and then the next day your muscles are sore, okay? Or maybe you went to the gym yesterday and your muscles are a little bit sore. You lifted weights and maybe you ran on the treadmill. The day after working hard or exercising hard, you might take a warm bath. You probably wouldn't do it the same day. Often your muscles are sore the next day where you're like, oh, I'm just really stiff and sore. from working hard or from working out. In that situation, you might take a warm bath. It'll just make you feel a little bit better. I don't usually do that. I often will have a warm or hot shower, and it has kind of the same effect. It just makes you feel better if your muscles are stiff. You know what I mean by stiff? It's like your muscles just, they hurt a little bit. Like you didn't injure yourself, but you just feel like kind of stiff and sore from working out. The home remedy that works for that is to have a warm bath. A jet tub or a jacuzzi tub, or there's another name for this kind of tub, but it is a tub that has water jets in it. So it's kind of like a small hot tub. We don't have one, but sometimes I wish I did. If you, again, have sore muscles for whatever reason, a jet tub or a jacuzzi tub, whirlpool tub, it's sometimes called, is just a great thing to jump into and use. It'll really soothe your aching muscles a lot. Or you might just get a massage from someone, or you might massage yourself. Let's say you worked on the computer all day and your neck is very, very stiff and sore. You might do what this person's doing. You might massage your neck so that it feels a little bit better. You know, you'll kind of pinch and pull and rub the muscles just to loosen things up. You might even do this, like, let's say you have a bad cold and your head, you might massage your forehead or your temples a little bit. If you have a headache, you might do this. You might massage a little bit, but certainly a nice way to feel a little bit better if you are experiencing any kind of pain or soreness, a little bit of massage. Deep breathing. Sometimes just taking a bit of a break and breathing deeply is a good home remedy for things like, let's say you're really stressed. Let's say work has been incredibly difficult, and maybe you're just like, oh, I need to stop and take a little bit of a break. Deep breathing would be a good thing to do. You can take a deep breath, and then you can let that breath out, and you can just kind of calm yourself down and try to feel a little bit better. So if you are stressed, if you have a lot of anxiety, if you're afraid of something, maybe sit down, take a few deep breaths, maybe close your eyes, and you hopefully will feel a little bit better. Walking. Believe it or not, walking is one of the best things you can do no matter what's wrong with you. So if your muscles are a little bit sore, going for a walk might be a good idea. If you need to think about something, maybe going for a walk is a great idea. Walking is so cool because it's not totally exercise, but it's also not just sitting on a couch doing nothing. It's like in between. It gets you moving, it gets you outside, it gets you in nature. So walking can be a great remedy, a great treatment for after a stressful day at work, or if you just need to loosen up a little bit from being sore from working hard or something like that. I know that anytime I have injured myself, they want me to start walking as soon as possible because it increases the flow of blood through your body. And it's just really, really good and really, really healthy. So walking, one of the best home remedies for almost anything, I think. Steam. So I used to do this as a kid. My mom would put a bowl of steaming water and I would put a towel over my head. If I had a stuffed up nose, if I had a cold, this was one of the home remedies, to sit over a bowl of steaming water. And this would kind of make your nose run a little bit and you would just feel a little bit better. Sauna. I think you're supposed to say sauna. Sauna. I say sauna. That is the bad North American pronunciation of this. We do not have a sauna in our house. A lot of people who are from Northern European countries will go in a sauna. A sauna is a very hot room with hot rocks that produce steam when you put water on them. And when you're in the sauna or sauna, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, it just can make you sweat and it can just clear your head. And I think you're supposed to jump into really cold water and then go back in the sauna and go back and forth. I think that's supposed to be really good for your body. Stretching. Now, when you exercise, you might stretch before or after you exercise, but it can also feel good. Let's say your shoulder is a little bit sore. It can feel good just to stretch your shoulder out of it. It's good to do a little bit of stretching so that you feel a little bit better and the muscle feels a little bit better. So I often do some light stretching in the morning. You know, it's kind of natural, right? You're like, ugh, you yawn and stretch out a little bit like a cat. Cats do a lot of stretching, but yes, stretching. I should have had someone stretching after getting out of bed instead of stretching for exercise, but both are just good ways to loosen up your muscles a bit. rest. So simply not doing anything. If you are injured, if you are sick, rest is very, very important. This coming from the guy who said walking is really important as well, but sometimes you just need to rest. If you're sick and take a day off work, you don't then try to go shopping or go see a movie. You just stay home and rest. You sit on your couch, you enjoy the day, you don't do anything strenuous. When you do something strenuous, it means it's like difficult, like lifting things or walking for 5 miles or 10 kilometers, or sorry, those aren't equal, but rest is just really, really good. Elevation, if you have injured an extremity. So an extremity would be your feet or your hands, like the things furthest away from your body at the end of your limbs. You might need to use some elevation. So elevation would be when you put something up in the air. So if you twist your ankle, the doctor might say you need to go home and rest. You need to put ice on it. You need to put a compression bandage on it, and you need to elevate your foot. So you need to put it higher than the rest of your body. And then I just mentioned compression bandage. A compression bandage is kind of a stretchy bandage that you might put on a part of your body just to prevent it from moving too much if it's injured. Like if your wrist was really sore, you might want to rest for a day and put a compression bandage on it so that it feels a little bit better. And then these last two are not really home remedies. We call these over-the-counter drugs. So that means that you are able to just buy these without a prescription. The two most common painkillers are Advil, which is ibuprofen, and Tylenol, which we call acetaminophen, and I think in some countries it's called paracetamol. Anyways, these are very mild painkillers that you might take if you have a headache or small aches and pains in your body. You might take Advil or you might take Tylenol.